This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn reporting live from the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, Hillary Clinton's big night. There are so many storylines here in Philadelphia, but we begin with her biggest challenge. President Obama teed it up for her last night, but tonight it is Hillary Clinton's turn to make her case and tell the American people why she would make a better president than Donald Trump.
I hope that she'll talk about things in enough detail that people can understand how are we going to manage an economy which is becoming increasingly globalized and technology driven and still provide opportunities for all Americans to live the good life.
She just has to be on that stage and be dynamic and tell what she's going to do as president and how much she cares about women and children and the future of this country. And absolutely the history-making element of her candidacy is enough for a lot of people themselves who are wavering in a bit, maybe especially women voters. It's a compelling story. So I think that whether she is at the same level of a speaker, the bottom line is she's going to be the nominee, the first woman nominated to the presidency.
And listen to this, because this is really amazing.
But voters in Florida and on the Suncoast want to hear a lot more, and Haley Wilgus joins us now because he talked to the Reverend Jesse Jackson about that.
I did. It was unexpected, Alan, this morning at the Florida delegation breakfast. He stopped by. He wasn't speaking to the delegates, but he was walking through the crowd, and we had a chance to speak with him. And we asked him about issues affecting Florida voters.
Medicaid for millions of people been undermined in Florida. Student loan debt, greater than credit card debt. So I think if you focus on student loan debt coming down, and wages going up, and Medicaid, those are hard issues.
And Alan, we know the road to the White House runs right through Florida. We've been seeing it at these delegate breakfasts every morning, some big names. We also had Eric Holder this morning, Howard Dean, and, you know, we've been bringing you a lot of stories that have happened right at that breakfast.
That I-4 corridor from Sarasota all the way through Tampa, Orlando to the East Coast. Thanks a lot, Haley. Of course, we will have a lot more coming up in the next few minutes here in Philadelphia, including an all-star roundtable. But for now, Ray, back to you.
Alan, last week when we were in Cleveland, we saw a number of potential GOP candidates lobbying delegates on the floor there. Is the same thing going on in Philadelphia?
Every single day. Today, Gwen Graham, the congresswoman from Tallahassee, daughter of Bob Graham, one-term congresswoman from Tallahassee, she spoke to the Florida delegate. She even had a teleprompter set up. Of course, she says she is leaving Congress because that congressional district has turned a lot more Republican, and she very likely will be running for governor. Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn spoke to Florida delegates yesterday. He got a rousing standing ovation. One more you have maybe not heard about, Miami Beach Mayor Philip Levine. He is also pounding the pavement here in Philadelphia, talking to the Florida delegation and making his case. And interestingly, he has hired the same political consultant as Pam Bondi, who is excellent at media. His name is Adam Goodman, and he is with Philip Levine here in Philadelphia, introducing himself to the Florida delegation because there are so many power players here, Ray.
So for some of the candidates, this is an opportunity to be a fundraising adventure as well, right?
For 14 years, I was undocumented.
You know, we saw this in both Cleveland and in Philadelphia. Very interesting quote from former Governor Charlie Crist, who's now running in Pinellas County for U.S. Congress. He called it a bank. He had at least 5 fundraisers just today, and of course, he needs a lot of money because he is going up against David Jolly in Pinellas County. Because of redistricting, it's a lot more Democratic-leaning district, but it might well be one of the most expensive congressional races in the country.
Very good term, a bank. Okay, thank you, Alan. Talk to you soon during your roundtable discussion. Again, Hillary Clinton's remarks are at 10 o'clock tonight on ABC 7. We'll have live reaction after that at 11 o'clock. And also check our social media pages for additional content you won't see on the air. Other news now back here on the Suncoast. After 6 years of sitting vacant, there is now activity at the former Colony Resort on Longboat Key. Look at this. Demolition is about to begin today. Unicorp Development is clearing the property and hopes to break ground on a new 5-star resort within the next 2 years. For those around the former Colony, it's a welcome news.
The new people and they're great people who are taking it over will make a very, very fine resort, but I don't think that the atmosphere that was created in the 70s and the 80s can be created in this century.
It's sad and it's an eyesore right now, obviously, but you know, the new day out here will be a gorgeous resort that will have kids playing on the beach and great place for families.
Before construction begins, unit owners must give permission to Unicorp. The company also will have a free trolley on Longboat Key to help reduce the traffic problems caused by the work. To the south now, new development is also taking place in Northport. The area is considered the 4th fastest growing region in the country. The area around the West Village is particularly growing fast. Nearly 1,000 more homes are on the way, as well as a commercial shopping center.
The economic impact is going to be tremendous. Not only the tax base that's going to bring from all the homes and business coming in, but the economic growth of businesses that are going to come here.
Very, very interesting. When we moved in, there was 200 homes and in Island Walk, and now there's probably close to 1,400.
It's expected by the year 2050, there will be 30,000 more homes in Northport. A follow-up now on plans to bring medical marijuana to Bradenton. Trulieve says it hopes to reach a deal in the next few weeks with a dispensary there. Once that's finalized, the location and opening date will be announced. Medical marijuana will be only available through a registered doctor for patients suffering from cancer, muscle spasms, and chronic seizures. You might be surprised at the number of accidents at the interstate ramps in Sarasota County. The sheriff's office says last month there were 33 crashes on the on and off ramps in Sarasota County alone. Most of them happened at Fruitville, Clark, and River Roads. Deputies blame distracted driving for most of these accidents. And by that we might mean cell phones too often. Be careful with that. Let's get the first forecast now from our chief meteorologist, Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Ray. I'll tell you what, not many storms around today as opposed to yesterday. Showers are starting to gather across places, but not much. As I mentioned, most of it to the south. You can see that activity near the Peace River along US 41 there, the bridge crossing over to Port Charlotte. Few and far between. They are moving from the southeast to the northwest right now, and a few spotty showers just to the east and south of Northport, and some activity earlier just near Venice, but not much going on. These are all progressing off to the northwest. Coastal areas staying quiet right now. We could see additional showers popping up near the coast due to the outflow boundaries from those cells, but rain chance pretty small through the evening. 91 degrees, clear skies, dew point at 73. We have a west wind at 8. And the pressure now 30.03 inches, and that's slowly on the rise. Yesterday was 97. Today, a little bit cooler, 95. Close to another record, though, 97. That was set back in 1927. The evening forecast calling for temperatures to remain warm right on in through 11 o'clock, with the temperature still in the mid-80s in places. Statewide temperature 92 in Gainesville. It's 90 in Daytona Beach. And as far as the overall temperatures go currently across the area, inland area is still very warm in Arcadia, Sebring, Lake Placid. All in the 90s there. Wauchula down to 87 degrees and 88 in Venice. The water temperature now at 87. As far as the RPM forecast model goes, tonight a few isolated showers possible, maybe even a thunderstorm or two, but not much. Dry air is still in place. Tomorrow, things change a bit. We'll get better chances for those afternoon and evening storms. And we are watching two separate areas. This one, the Invest 97, has a 30% chance developing the next 5 days into something tropical. This one has 40. This one we'll have to watch closely. If it continues on its path and course, there's a chance it could bring us additional moisture by this time next week. We'll have more on that coming up at 11 o'clock. For boaters, it looks to be pretty good tomorrow. Seas 2 feet or less, a light chop in the bays and inland waters. And as far as the 7-day forecast looks like this, a chance for showers and storms right through the weekend, a little bit better chance for more widespread activity over the weekend. Ray?
Thank you, Bob. Last night, President Obama, but tonight, it's who he hopes will be his successor. Stay with us.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
On Animal Outtakes, every week, it's a new animal adventure. From meeting curious lemurs to feeding big cats and hosing down rhinos, there's never a dull moment.
And sometimes these amazing animals chime in. Tune in to Animal Outtakes to find out what they have to say.
Watch Animal Outtakes this weekend on ABC 7.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Welcome back, everyone. Day 4 of the Democratic National Convention, Hillary Clinton's big night, and joining us for our roundtable is Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn, Susan McManus from the University of South Florida, and Alan Clendenin, the vice chair of the Florida Democratic Party. Susan, let me begin with you, because after a bumpy start to this convention, it seems like the Democrats have been on message. Is that your impression?
Absolutely. It's very typical. We've had shaky starts to both conventions, and by the end of the week, which is exactly what you want, crescendo to the absolute peak. And we've been seeing that, even though there's still a little bit of fractiousness with some of the Sanders people. They're still not quite on board. A lot of work to be done there yet.
You know, the Republicans are boasting about the fact that in the polls lately in Florida, it seems that Trump has taken a lead. Is that for real, in your opinion, or what do you make of it?
I'm a little leery of polls right now. Some of them have done with very small sample sizes, and it's a very volatile era, and the polls are back and forth, back and forth. No surprise, Florida's a 1% state. Whoever wins Florida wins by a narrow margin. So the polls, I think, are just reflective of the back and forth of exactly where we are in Florida right now.
And Mayor, of course, we live on the I-4 corridor here. We keep on hearing it every presidential election season about how crucial this is to who wins, who loses Florida. What is your sense this year, comparing it to 4 and 8 years ago?
Well, my sense is we're a purple state, and it's always going to be tight. The road to the White House starts in Sarasota and ends in Daytona Beach on that I-4 corridor. I think we're in good shape, but we're going to have to do what we did in certainly 08 and then again in 12, which is go out and identify those undecided voters. Put a field organization in place that is unparalleled, which is obviously what President Obama did, and go out there and knock on those doors and tell those stories to our neighbors that are undecided and get people to the polls. That's what wins these elections.
And Alan, the big question is down ballot races also, because we have congressional races, state Senate races. With the polls so tight, are you concerned that it may not bring along other Democrats who are running for office?
I'm not concerned, because as the mayor just highlighted, this campaign is going to have an unprecedented presence in Florida. They are building out operations, not just in the I-4 corridor, which we are in a very big way, but all across the entire state of Florida. So that type of a field operation, the type of attention that Florida is going to get, is going to, that rising waters is going to lift a lot of boats. And I think we're going to see a lot of really good surprises when we wake up after Election Day this November.
Where are we at in terms of the Bernie folks? Obviously, they made their case on Monday. My impression in the hall last night is that there was no shouting, no riots. But so, the vast majority of Bernie supporters, do you believe that they're on board at this point?
I think most of them are. I mean, you know, I've lost campaigns before. I know how long it takes for those hurt feelings to subside. But I think ultimately they're going to be faced with a simple choice. The choice is wake up on that Wednesday after the Tuesday with a headline that says President Donald Trump, or elect a woman that you may not agree with entirely, but is far better than the alternative. I think they're going to come into the fold. We need their enthusiasm. We need their energy, Alan. And so I am hopeful that after this convention is over, tomorrow morning, all of us will lead ready to go out and execute on the plan and go win.
We're still hearing rumors that there will be another dump of emails from WikiLeaks embarrassing to the Democratic Party. Susan, if that did happen, would that step on the messaging and the bump potentially that Hillary could get out of this convention?
Well, there's always that potential, and I think some of the concern is the fact that, yes, it's true that the Sanders people inside the hall are starting to be won over, but the question is, what about the ones that were the movement in the streets? That's a different matter. We don't know how they're going. We do know, and we've seen here, that the Green Party candidate, Jill Stein, has been circling and trying to recruit the Sanders people to her campaign. It's a little unknown at this point, but it is true, as the mayor said, that Sanders voters coming into the fold are a very, very important part of the Democrats' victory plan in Florida and across the country.
Does that even itself out? Because obviously there are still Republicans who are never Trump.
Parallels in both parties. I think you've seen it, the most unusual election in our lifetime, right? You know, you have disenchantment on both sides of the aisle, and that's why you've seen the rise of the Sanders campaign and the Democrats and the never Trump people on the other side. People are just really looking for something different, a certain portion of it, and that's going to be now the message. After you leave the convention unified, you have to also then redirect towards the disenchanted and figure out ways to bring them into the poll, because the convention bump is a bump. There's a long time between now and November 8th.
You know, that WikiLeaks issue, though, is becoming a major theme here. You have top Democrats talking all morning about, or raising the question whether Paul Manafort or Trump has anything to do with the Russian government and the hacking of the email. You know, Alan, what's your impressions of that?
Well, that entire issue is absolutely, completely outrageous. And every day that I wake up and I think that, you know, it just couldn't get any more outrageous on the other side than it is today, I get surprised. And when you have a leader of a major political party in the most powerful country on earth behaving and acting the way that man has been behaving throughout this entire process, even amongst the group of folks that were competing for the GOP nomination, I think it's appalling, and I think the GOP needs a lot of work, and they have to do something to fix this for the good of this country.
You know, but Mayor, as you said yourself, this is a purple area. Not only is the state purple, but Hillsborough County is purple, and I think we both know a lot of people in Hillsborough County, Manatee, and Sarasota. They're with Trump no matter what happens and what he says.
Yeah, but I think also, and you know, as a mayor, I tend to be a little less partisan and more practical. I have a lot of folks on the Republican side that have said to me, I don't like Hillary Clinton, but I can't stomach the idea of a President Trump. And they will quietly come over and vote for Hillary Clinton because they can't leave our country and their kids and grandkids stuck with a guy who clearly is not prepared, intellectually or otherwise, for this office. And so, you know, Hillary's not everyone's cup of tea. I mean, we get that. She is an acquired taste for some. But no one can deny that she's the most prepared candidate that's ever stepped foot into this arena, and that the alternative is far worse on any number of fronts.
So expectations for tonight. Hillary is following an incredible address by President Obama last night, Joe Biden, maybe Tim Kaine, Michelle Obama. She's not known for her oratory excellence, so what does she have to do tonight, Susan?
She just has to be on that stage and be dynamic and tell what she's going to do as president and how much she cares about women and children and the future of this country. And absolutely the history-making element of her candidacy is enough for a lot of people themselves who are wavering in a bit, maybe especially women voters. It's a compelling story. So I think that whether she is at the same level of a speaker the bottom line is she's going to be the nominee, the first woman nominated to the presidency of any major party.
All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to the events for tonight. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Hurricane season is here, and Suncoast weather can go from this to this in seconds. So when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology so that we can bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
Plus, we focus on the Suncoast and track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you.
US Med has great news for anyone living with diabetes.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, US Med will ship a new glucose meter right to your home.
And shipping is free.
My new meter uses only a speck of blood, so it's less painful than my previous meter.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, you're covered with US Med. We're welcoming new patients, even if your current provider can't supply you anymore.
I don't even have to test on my fingers anymore. I can test on my hand or forearms, and it's more accurate than my old meter.
So call US Med today, and you'll have a choice of 2 great meters.
One that actually speaks your results, or a meter so small it fits on the bottle of strips.
Act now, and US Med will include a free prescription discount card. We'll also send you a free diabetes cookbook. This is your opportunity.
So call US Med today.
You'll be glad you did.
Florida Studio Theater presents The Roommate by Jen Silverman, now playing through August 7th. Brooklyn meets Iowa City when Sharon finds a sensible roommate, but it's far from what she expected. Don't miss what critics are saying is laugh out loud funny, with unexpected turns and emotional depth. The Roommate is now playing through August 7th. Purchase tickets now by calling 941-366-9000 or visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
And finally tonight, we just wanted to let you know what a great job Philadelphia has done all week long. Right now we're in the Reading Market where we've had lunch just about every day this week. Of course, when you think of Philadelphia, what do you think of? Of course, Rocky, thank you. And Haley Wilgus and Adam Cellini have this great story.
Welcome to Philadelphia, the site of the 2016 Democratic National Convention and the place where so much of America's history lies. The Declaration of Independence was signed here, as was the Constitution. It's also the city Rocky made famous. We'll talk about that in a minute, but first, let's head to the Liberty Bell. We're here at the Visitor Center for the Liberty Bell, as you can tell, a popular spot in Philadelphia and a must-do if you're visiting the city. There is much debate over during which momentous most moments, the Liberty Bell actually rang. But one time it reportedly did not ring was on July 4th, 1776, although it likely did sound to mark the reading of the Declaration of Independence. And what's a trip to the city of brotherly love without stopping by the Philadelphia Museum of Art to run the steps Rocky made famous? Adam Cellini and I took the challenge. Nightlife options are plentiful in Philly, including inside the Wells Fargo complex where the DNC is being held. At Xfinity Live, plenty of dining and entertainment options. And as you can see behind us, CNN even opened their own grill for the convention. In Philadelphia, Haley Wilgus, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, did she run those steps in high heels? I couldn't tell. Thank you, Haley and Adam. I'm Ray Collins. More news tonight at 11 after the speech in Philadelphia. We'll see you then.